Scuba. Have you brought a towel? Yes, I brought a towel. And flip-flops? No, Grandad, I didn't bring flip-flops. But we don't need them. We're going to the swimming pool, not walking along the beach. No, Grandad's voice echoes in the changing cubicle next to me. In Germany, I always used flip-flops or sandals just so I didn't catch anything when I was walking around. But here, I brought these. A pair of sandals drops like magic into my cubicle. I bend down and pick them up. But these are my jelly shoes, Grandad. Where did you get them? Your grandma kept them after we took you on the caravan holiday in Wales. I lean back against the cubicle wall and close my eyes. How did I let this happen? Grandad didn't mention scuba diving for 3 whole days and I'd thought he'd forgotten about it. But he must have told Mum and Dad last night because it was the first thing Mum mentioned this morning. I told her that I didn't want to go, but she just said she and Dad thought it was great that Grandad was getting out and doing things with me. I jump as someone knocks on my cubicle door. Are you ready? Shouts Grandad. I'm coming. I stand up and try to put my swimming trunks on, but I'm shaking so much my feet won't fit through the holes. The last time I was here, some boys from year 8 laughed at me because I was clinging on to the side in the shallow end. Grandad picked me up from school as usual, but my heart dropped into my stomach when I saw his towel and swimming trunks on the passenger seat. I tried everything to get out of it. I told him I'd just eaten and might get stomach cramps. I told him I feel sick. I've got earache. I've got verruca. I tried all the excuses I used to say at primary school to get me out of swimming, but Grandad ignored them all. Felix, Grandad knocks on my door again. You need to hurry, he says. Okay, I shout. I try to move my foot into my trunks. I can hear the instructor's voice echoing through the changing room. Something about being nearly ready, just waiting for 2 more. That's me and Grandad. This is going to be so embarrassing. What person signs up for scuba diving when he can't even put his head under water? Everyone is going to laugh at me. Grandad, I shout. I don't. I will go on in, says Grandad. Here's the key for the locker. No, Grandad. The locker key slides under the door. Grandad, wait, I don't want. I pull my trunks up and flick the latch. It's not too late to catch Grandad. He's bound to want to go to the toilet. I look up and down the changing room for him. But the only person I see is an attendant wearing a red and yellow trackie, mopping the floor. I put my clothes in the locker and run. Oi, the attendant shouts and points at the yellow triangle on the floor. Can't you read? No running. Slippery surface. I'm sorry, I gasp, but I'm looking for my Grandad. The attendant nods at the footbath. He couldn't wait. For the toilet? No, for the pool. He went through here quicker than Usain Bolt. What? I turn and splash through the footbath and out into the pool. Grandad smiles at me as I walk towards him. He's standing in the line by the pool next to 6 other people. They all look at me, but I just look at Grandad. He's wearing a blue polo shirt and trunks that make his legs look as skinny as a chicken's. He's way older than anyone else here. They must be thinking that's a bit weird, but not as weird as his grandson walking along the edge of the pool in red jelly shoes. Ah, says the instructor, so this is your grandson, Felix. Yes, Grandad puts his arm around my shoulders. This was all his idea. Well, it was Jake's actually. Great, says the instructor. Well, I'm Steve, as most of you know, so would everyone else like to introduce themselves? I lean forward and look along the line. A man about Dad's age says his name is Andy. A girl a bit older than me says her name is Isabel. And then there are John, Karen, Mark, Josh, then Frank, barks Grandad, so loudly it echoes around the pool area. Excellent, says Steve. We'll get you all in the water soon, but I just need to run through some important points first. He turns towards a flip chart where there's a picture of a diver with his hands flapping around and bubbles coming out of his mouth. First and most important rule of diving, says Steve, don't panic. Don't panic? I shiver and Grandad glances down at me. Are you okay? He whispers. I nod. I never thought we'd actually be here. Steve tells us how panicking can be dangerous, that if anything goes wrong, the most important thing is to remain calm. Then he tells us not to worry, because once we get used to it, Breathing underwater will become second nature, just like when we breathe fresh air. I wrap my arms around my body and try to stop myself shaking. Jake, why did you think of this? Okay, says Steve. I'm just going to show you the equipment and some simple tips. This is the mask. He holds a blue mask up to his face. It covers your nose and your eyes as you'd expect. Now, when you first get in the water, it may fog up, but all you have to do is let some water in. I'll show you how in a minute. The next thing to tell you about is the regulator. Now, contrary to what people may think, the worst thing you can do when scuba diving is hold your breath. Let water into your mask. Don't hold your breath. He's teaching us how to drown, not dive. I can't do it. I can't. I look up at Grandad and hope he's feeling the same, but he's got his finger over his nose. That's it, says Steve. Just blow. That's how you clear your eustachian tube. Which is important, otherwise the pressure will build and it'll feel like your head is going to explode. Everyone laughs except me. Felix, did you understand that? Asks Steve. No, I shake my head. Like this, says Grandad. He clamps his finger over his nostrils. I do the same. Now just blow inside your head, like when you blow your nose. Okay, says Steve. I'm sure you can't wait to get on with it. Oh, we can. Right, let's have you all in the water. Just walk forward until your toes are gripping the edge. I stand still as everyone else edges forward. Grandad. I grab his elbow just as the others splash into the pool. We don't have to do this. Don't worry, he replies. I'll be fine. You might be, but I'm not. Felix, Frank, are you joining us? Steve is in the water with a mask pushed up on his forehead and everyone else is treading water while looking at me. Of course we will join you, says Grandad as he edges forward. I want to pee. I want to run. Water splashes over my legs as Grandad jumps into the water. Come on, Felix, says Steve. Just you now. Yes, says Grandad, wiping water out of his eyes. Just you now. In you jump. Yes, just jump. Grandad, I whisper, I never wanted to do this. I thought you'd never do it. All I wanted to do was get out of playing boring chess. Grandad smiles down at me. You think I did not know? What? You knew? Grandad holds out his hand like I'm a toddler. Come on, he says, grinning. He knew all along, and this is getting more embarrassing by the second. There's nothing for it. I hold on to my nose and jump.